Well, it is Canada Day weekend, and we are celebrating our homeland and our province with food. The Pacific Institute of Culinary Arts has a unique tour and tasting showcasing the many flavors of BC. Tim Ellison is Director of Operations and joins us now. Hi.
How are you doing?
Great to see you. Doing very well.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much for being here. So Tim, for those who are unfamiliar with your school, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, Pacific Institute of Culinary Arts. It's a professional culinary and baking and pastry school that's been at the entrance to Granville Island for over 21 years. In addition to the professional culinary and baking and pastry programs, we have a restaurant and a bake shop that's open to the public 7 days a week, as well as doing wine classes through the Wine Spirit Education Trust and other consumer classes as well.
And where do grads go on to work?
Oh, they work all over town, all over the world. Four Seasons, Lucia Syme, the owner of Autostrada, is one of our grads. Mark Perrier from Salvia Volpe. We have grads at the hotels, the Four Seasons, and at the Pan Pacific, Hotel Vancouver, and travel the world. Michelin-starred restaurants in Spain and France. We have students working at 11 Madison Park, the #1 restaurant in the world. So they get around.
And so what happens within this experience tour?
Well, for the West Coast Experience, it's a real treat for us to showcase the bounty of the Pacific Northwest. So it starts out with a 1-hour tour of Granville Island, where we take people around and show them not only the public market, but the whole island, because there's Liberty Distillers and Masa Saccharia and all kinds of other hidden gems. We do spend time in the market showing them our favorite producers. They get to sample a little bit of food. Then we leave the market, return to school. We do a wine tasting where we feature some BC wines, and then they get a seafood demo, so a cooking demo, and then sit down to enjoy a 3-course lunch or dinner in our Marina View restaurant.
As soon as you said wine, I got very excited.
Yeah.
Shall we go through this?
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things is what we like to do is show people the diversity of the BC wine industry and where we've come in the last, say, 30 years since the late 80s when we really came on stream. We've got some great producers. We showcase producers from all over the 9 regions of British Columbia, but we've got some top producers from the Okanagan Valley here today. We do go out of our way to provide the experience in the Riedel varietally specific glasses, which really showcase the wines at their best. We start off, we've got this beautiful Pinot Gris, and this is, if I may, this is the Mission Hill Reserve Pinot Gris. It's harvested over 3 vineyards. This 2016 vintage, taken down over 70 days. It gives that gorgeous kind of stone fruit nuance, but still kind of bright, light acidity. Makes for a very refreshing wine.
That's a great summer wine.
Yeah, beautiful with shellfish, lighter preparations, especially the spot prawns that we're having now. This is a real treat. This is from the Stewart family. This is the... You got that one right there? Yeah, so this is from the Stewart family, Quail's Gate, and it's an oak Chardonnay, and you can see the unique shape of the glass, that it's wider. So oak Chardonnays typically undergo malolactic fermentation, a conversion of the hard green apple malic acids to the soft buttery lactic acids, so they're a lot softer on the palate. This glass allows the wine to sheet across the tongue so it touches the acid receptors on the side of the palate, and it lifts and brightens the wine, gives it more balance and makes it quite pleasing. So the glass itself is a real treat. You get that beautiful creamy buttery nuance.
Very acidic, I hear.
So it gives it great balance, and that's really exciting. And these wines are wonderful with richer seafoods, crabs and scallops, things like that, and spot prawns, which we're just coming to the end of the season now.
Perfect.
Of course, we got some reds, and they're really ideal with the dishes that we have here.
Okay, well, should we take the reds and
let's do that. So grab
through it?
yourself a Pinot Noir and a Merlot. And yeah, so starting off with Blue Mountains Pinot Noir, a biodynamically farmed Pinot Noir run by the Mavity family, so Okanagan Landing, beautiful and delicate. And what I love about this wine, it's got elevated acidity, but soft tannin. So it works really well with salmon. Of course, we're famous for salmon here in British Columbia. And the richness of this wine and the purity of fruit really complement the intensity. And you can see Chef has got a beautiful pomegranate and strawberry salsa on there. We put in a little bit of jalapeno, which gives it a little bit of lift and a bit of sharpness. And that really works well with this Pinot Noir. You get the beautiful red berry fruit, a lot of dried strawberries, which echo the strawberries and the salsa. And again, that soft, silky texture. Really gentle tannins. So with the fish, which is high in fat, and you don't want too tannic a wine with seafood because it can come across a little bit steely and hard. But these soft, gentle tannins, real silky, work really well with that dish.
An Okanagan wine with some salmon. Peak BC, I think.
Exactly. And of course, we got wild rice, which is a very Canadian thing with a little bit of ricotta cheese.
Now I know you have a lot of dessert here as well.
We do as well. And see, the great thing about the final wine, this Hester Creek Merlot, is these rich, deep, dark black and red fruit flavors echo the lovely strawberry shortcake, the raspberry and chocolate tart, as well as even this hazelnut and chocolate mousse. You'll find that the richness of the wine and the generosity of those dark fruits with a little bit of baking spice, which comes from the oak, really work well with these types of dishes. And it's not so huge and overpowering that it masks the flavor of these delicate desserts. It really lifts them up, and it echoes and highlights the beautiful berry fruit flavors.
Tim, I have to ask on a personal level, why do you think it's important for people who live in our province to get a sense of all of this, whether it's the wine, whether it's the food that's really local?
Yeah, and that's a really great question. And the thing is we encourage locals to experience our West Coast experience. It's not just for tourists. It's when I walk people on the island and I point out different artworks, for instance, that are on the island, I have a lot of people say to me, you know, I've come down here my whole life, I've never noticed that. And sometimes when you're led through the market with a professional chef, when you're taken through the BC wines with a professional sommelier, it really allows people to get a heightened appreciation of the work that's going into the products that we get to enjoy. And we are able to highlight and pinpoint some of the attributes that make them special and unique to this place in the world.
What's the price point for the experience?
The price point to have the market tour with the snacks, the wine tasting, seafood menu, lunch or dinner, it's only $167 or $175 each. So when you think about what a 3-course meal would cost you in this town, with the tour, the tasting, and the demo, we think it presents tremendous value, and we heartily encourage people to take advantage of it.
And just briefly, your favorite part of the entire experience?
Well, you know, as a certified chef, I have to say I like the market. However, my training as a sommelier and the fact that it allows me to sample these beautiful wines as part of my work day, the wine tasting is indeed my favorite.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will drink to that, my friend.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure.